Thank you all for joining. In this presentation, we'll explore what Math Kangaroo is, why it's different from typical math competitions, and most importantly, how parents can help their children succeed. We'll cover the contest format, common question types, preparation strategies, and practical tips that families can start using right away. By the end, you'll have a clear plan to help your child prepare confidently and enjoy the learning process. So, what exactly is Math Kangaroo? It is one of the world's largest mathematics competitions for school students, from grade 1 all the way to grade 12. Every year, students from many countries solve the same style of interesting problems. Unlike traditional school exams, Math Kangaroo doesn't just test whether students know formulas. Instead, it encourages them to think creatively, recognize patterns, and solve unfamiliar problems. That's why it's very popular among students worldwide year after year. The competition is organized into several levels so students compete with questions appropriate for their age. Usually, 2 grades share the same question paper. For example, first and second graders take exactly the same test. However, they are ranked separately. So first graders only compete against other first graders, even though they answer the same questions as second graders. This makes the competition both fair and encouraging for younger students. Let's look at what students experience on test day. Everyone receives a 75-minute test. Students in grades 1 through 4 answer 24 questions, while older students answer 30 questions. The questions are all multiple choice, and calculators are not allowed. Students can use scratch paper to organize their thinking. 75 minutes may sound long, especially for younger children, so developing strong focus is just as essential as strengthening math skills. Math Kangaroo uses a weighted scoring system. Questions 1 to 10 are usually easier, so they are worth 3 points each. The middle questions, 11 to 20, are worth 4 points, and the remaining questions are the most difficult and worth 5 points each. For grades 1 to 4, there are only 24 questions, so the easier questions are the first 8, and the hardest questions are the last 8. There is no penalty for wrong answers, so students should always answer every question. Even an educated guess gives them a chance to earn extra points. The competition is certainly challenging. First, younger students must stay focused for 75 minutes, which can be difficult. Second, many questions encourage careful thinking. Sometimes familiar topics are presented in completely new situations, and many questions include extra information or unusual wording to tempt students into mistakes. Finally, a single question may combine geometry, arithmetic, logic, and reading comprehension all at once. The contest really tests flexible thinking. Now that we've seen what Math Kangaroo looks like and why it's different from a typical school math test, the next question is, how do we actually prepare? Many parents assume the answer is simply to do more worksheets or memorize more formulas, but that's only part of the story. Math Kangaroo rewards logical thinking, careful reading, pattern recognition, and flexible problem solving. In the next slides, we'll look at practical strategies parents can use to help their children build these skills step by step. The goal isn't just to get the right answer, it's to become a more confident and independent mathematical thinker. So how can parents help their children prepare for math contests like Math Kangaroo? I've been teaching students get ready for math contests like Math Kangaroo and AMC for many years, and here today I will share with you some of my tips. I have listed on this slide 5 important tips, and I will review each one of them with you in more details. The most important thing to remember is that it's not about doing the most worksheets or memorizing tricks. On the contrary, it's almost all about building strong thinking habits and practicing with a purpose. The first important preparation strategy is to spend a lot of time building geometry and visual thinking skills. A lot of parents naturally focus on arithmetic, but Math Kangaroo has plenty of questions about shapes, symmetry, rotations, reflections, folding, grids, and visual patterns. Students should spend time practicing more geometry and spatial sense questions, so that they can get more comfortable solving problems by spotting relationships and picturing what's going on instead of depending only on calculations. Okay, that visual habit really matters. I came up with the second most important strategy of preparation for Math Kangaroo because I have seen a lot of students lose contest points before they even start calculating. Students should get into the habit of reading every question carefully and always stop to ask, what exactly is this problem asking me to find? Students should often pause and reread the question so they don't miss any hidden conditions. They must also get good at separating extra story details from the math that actually matters, and keep an eye out for distractors that can lead to common mistakes. This one habit alone can prevent a lot of careless errors. Parents are often surprised that being faster at calculations doesn't always mean a higher math kangaroo score. Students should focus on building thinking skills like number sense, logical reasoning, spatial reasoning, pattern recognition, systematic counting, and a range of problem-solving strategies. The goal should not be just to get an answer fast. It's to understand why the solution works. That deeper understanding makes it much easier for them to handle unfamiliar problems with confidence. That's what really pays off on contest day. Math Kangaroo test papers have 3-point questions that are relatively easy. They also have 4-point questions that are more challenging but are usually within the reach of most students. The few 5-point questions are really hard for most students. Students should change how they think depending on how many points a question is worth. For 3-point questions, they should try to solve them quickly and accurately without making silly mistakes. For 4-point questions, they should slow down a bit and check every condition carefully, because the wording often hides a twist. For 5-point questions, they should know they'll need deeper thinking. They draw diagrams, organize information, test examples, work backward, and try different approaches. They don't quit too soon. They should keep going and build the persistence needed for the toughest problems. Another important strategy for preparation is to encourage your child to spend more time going over mistakes. This usually is often more useful than just doing more problems. After each practice session, students should ask themselves why they got something wrong. Was it because they misread the question, missed a condition, made a careless calculation, or didn't fully understand the concept? Even when they get a problem right, they should still look for a quicker or cleaner way to solve it if it took them too long to get to the right answer. They should also come back to tough 5-point problems a few weeks later to make sure the reasoning really sticks for the long run. That review step is a big deal. Finally, parents should understand that the biggest gains usually come from steady preparation over a long stretch of time. Students should first build strong math thinking by working through a variety of problems all year long, either with a tutor or on their own. Then, about 6 to 9 weeks before the contest, they should start doing timed practices to get better at speed and problem solving. In the last month, they should focus on reviewing mistakes, sharpening contest strategies, and building confidence. The students who do the best are almost never the ones who cram at the last minute. They're the ones who build good habits over time. Consistency really wins here. So, to wrap things up, parents can help their child better prepare for Math Kangaroo by encouraging them to build strong thinking skills, read carefully, use smart strategies, learn from mistakes, and prepare consistently over time. Thanks for being here today. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at emily@homesweetlearning.com. I hope this was helpful.